The handle should look like a brown dagger. As it turns out, this film was made completely by accident. Why? That's because my discovery made just an hour ago was completely accidental. And this discovery is currently in this little container. It's still moving here. I'll show you in a moment what's inside. Actually, you already know what's inside because obviously it's on the cover of the film. However, I found a bumblebee. No matter how silly it may sound. That's right, my friends, I found a bumblebee. What's more, this bumblebee was kind of indifferent, meaning it didn't run away. It just sat on the ground, didn't move, and basically there was nothing you could do with it. So it is what it is. And now, why does this happen? I suspect that either someone hit it with something, or someone stepped on it, or maybe it's just the end of this individual's life. And I know that my channel, since it's about spiders, about scorpions, and other various strange things, I really think that both scorpions and spiders are nothing compared to the hatred people have for these little critters. Alright, not that little after all. You know what? Wait, let me turn it over. In fact, her. Because it's a female, I mean, it's a blood-sucking female and she can actually bite, but she won't bite me. And I'll tell you why in a moment. Let's maybe start with what probably intrigues you the most, which is, since I'm holding it in my hand like this, how is it that this creature doesn't bite me, doesn't sting me? Actually, I should say doesn't sting, because it has a typical piercing, sucking mouth part. So how is it that I can just take this creature in my hand like this? Of course, I recommend washing your hands afterward, but nothing happens. Well, nothing happens because for a horsefly to sting us, it first has to land on the skin by itself and then pierce it with its proboscis. But if we just pick it up and hold it in our hand, it won't do anything to us. I'll put him in the container since he likes to walk around here and is a bit clumsy. I suspect he's near the end of his life and I'm unsure what to do with him. It's an annoying creature, but still a living being. Oh, he just flipped onto his back. You go. Oh, and why did I even pick up this female, and what is it, and how do you pronounce it, and why is it a drone and not a bumblebee, and why isn't a bumblebee a drone? So let's talk about that right now. Well, what you're looking at here and what's walking around here, and I don't want it to walk around so actually it can see, because when it sees an obstacle, it stops. Well, this is actually a horsefly, which is a type of fly, not a bee fly, that belongs to the Tabanidae family, the horsefly family. This individual is a female from the Tabanus genus, but the specific species is unknown. I mean, I suspect it's Tabanus bovinus, the cattle horsefly, but since members of the genus Tabanus are quite hard to tell apart, and there are a lot of species. By the way, I recently saw a cool portable document format with all the horseflies of Croatia, and it was really a great piece of work. I'll share it with you somewhere here because there are prepared specimens visible there and you can compare how it looks on simply prepared specimens of flies from this family. Exactly, this is Tabanus bovinus or possibly Tabanus sudeticus, but I don't know, I have no idea. It has green eyes, so that would indicate bovinus. Alright, anyway, it belongs to the Tabanus genus, and that's for sure. Yes, this is a female who drinks blood, and when she bites and takes a sip, it's extremely painful. And my mom, for example, would confirm this here, because she was once bitten by one, and it wasn't pleasant, so maybe it's not that I know from personal experience, but from stories I know that bites from these flies are very, very, very unpleasant. They can also spread diseases, so wash your hands after touching them, but back to the point. Even though these are hated insects, and they attack large mammals, including cattle and horses, they also attack people. They do attack people, but whether it's rarely or often, I would say that it's usually the smaller species that attack us. More often, for example, the Chrysops genus includes deer flies, horseflies, and so on and so on. So these are the smaller Tabanidae, and in general there are a lot of Tabanidae species in Poland. I'll show you a part of my collection because in general I have a collection of Tabanidae that I've been gathering for quite a few years. So I have a lot of specimens collected there, and I'll be able to show you some of them. Exactly, they attack people, their bites hurt. I meant to say their bites are painful, so it's nothing pleasant. However, you have to admit one thing. Listen, Tabanidae have absolutely beautiful eyes. This applies to both female mosquitoes, which consume blood, and males, which typically feed on pollen or flower nectar, making the males harmless. Those eyes are really amazing. I'll give you a few examples here of what the compound eyes of flies from the Tabanidae family can look like. The spectacle is amazing and beautiful, despite the insects being nasty and generally disliked by people. Well, their eyes really are fabulously colorful, at least some of them. And those horseflies, the Tabanus species, they're already large flies, right? So they're actually some of the biggest in the country when it comes to their family. Outside Europe, much larger horsefly species can be found. The horsefly family has about 3,000 species globally, which is quite a lot, although not an extremely high number. In Poland, there are around 50 species of deerflies, clegs, and horseflies combined, as far as I recall. And now about the naming, right? So this is a horsefly, yes, and a bumblebee is a bumblebee. I know you can't really get rid of it, but a lot of people call bumblebees horseflies, and that's just, I don't know, a shortcut in thinking or simply incorrect in terms of taxonomy, let's call it. So I encourage you to say that this is a horsefly, and those flying fuzzy butts are, of course, bumblebees, and they're great. They're pollinators just like the male horseflies. So they're generally friendly towards people, of course. They have a stinger and so on, but bumblebees are generally seen in a good light, and those little bastard, that's not it. What's more, I'd really like to show you, because I think many of you are wondering what it actually bites with. Is it that long thick thing it has at the front of its, let's call it face, well obviously its head? Well no. And here I managed to show it in a pretty gentle way. I hope it was gentle because I didn't really hurt him, well her, what this insect actually stings with, and the stinger looks like a brown dagger. That dagger which, oh right, now you can see the dagger, that very dagger, which is hidden among other various projections of the horsefly's mouth parts. That's exactly what horseflies use to cut the skin, and that's also what causes the pain. Now, you might be wondering if you should be afraid of such horseflies, as many of you would likely ask that question. You know what, I think that's a bit of a wrong question, because generally these insects, of course, they bite, and of course they can transmit some diseases like anthrax, as far as I know, and generally various nasty things. But the insects themselves are just what they are, and we have to get used to their presence, because in Poland there are quite a lot of them, especially on warm, humid days when we go somewhere, I don't know, in the summer, yes, in the summer, to the forest, to the meadow, and so on, you know, to various wilder places, we'll immediately get attacked. Can you see it? Oh, okay, now it got brighter. Well, we're about to be attacked by a swarm of various insects, including horseflies, and there's nothing we can do about it. Sure, a bite hurts, but it's not fatal, right? Not right away. After being bitten by one of these insects, the probability of catching a serious disease and something really bad happening to us is relatively low. So I think there's really no need to panic, and since these insects are quite common, we just have to live with them. I hope I showed you in a cool way. Oh, here's the lamp. What a bumblebee looks like up close. A big bumblebee, because this is really a large specimen, a big female. Additionally, I don't know what to do with it because, you know, she's dying, and I'll probably put her to sleep quickly so she can become part of this comparative collection, which maybe someday, I don't know, will end up in a museum. We'll see. Maybe it's a really interesting species, although probably not. And with this bumblebee accent, we'll be finishing this episode. I invite you to check out my other videos, and I don't know what else. So peace out.